so it's my turn. My accent is even worse than his. So good luck to you to understand me. I also tend to get excited, so I talk fast. So here we go, and we're going to do an exercise now first, because he said we have tools to show how the word looks like, blah, blah. Let's see if that's true. So you have your polling devices, again, right? And I took a picture of a bed. This bed is located somewhere in the world. You don't know where. And I want you to guess, where is this bed? Okay? So can you, yeah, thank you. All right, you have 3 choices. Click 1 for Nepal, click 2 for United States, click 2 for China. Where do you think this bed is? Is it counting? Are they voting? Let's vote, let's vote. Vote fast, just don't think much. Think, where do you think this is? Ready? How much do we have, Olof? 150 people already voted? Yep, yeah. We're moving on, we're moving on. Next, where this other bed is. Ooh, nice, beautiful, looks comfortable. You're going to your own bed soon today, don't worry. All right, where is this? Number 1, Egypt, South Africa, or Sweden? Where is this? Voting, 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 press 1, 2, or 3. Please, please press 1, 2, and 3. All right. Voting, are they voting? Done? Yep. Shall we close it? Next one. All right, we're talking too much about beds. I don't want you to go to sleep yet. So I'm going to change. Now we're going to look at a toilet. Where is this toilet? These are real pictures, right? We actually went to these places and took these pictures, so it's real homes. 1 for Nepal, 2 for Kyrgyzstan, and 3 for France. What do you think it is? 1, 2, or 3? Ready? Okay, I'll give you an answer now. Ta-da! So this, what did they answer? Where did they think this messy bed is? Messy but comfy, right? I think.
They thought the bed was in Nepal.
Yes, I knew it. I did that on purpose. Ha. All right, this bed is in China. This is a middle-income home in China. And this here, what did they think? I bet they chose Egypt because, like Egypt bed sheets, they are really comfy and all, isn't it? What is it? No? They get it right?
They thought it was France.
France or Sweden?
Sweden.
That's Sweden. They thought it was Sweden. South Africa. All right, now we know that you don't know anything, so I bet this one you answered wrong again. You're going to probably said what? France. So, what did they say?
Nepal.
Very nice. Kyrgyzstan. You got it all wrong. Luckily for you, this is not facts, right? This is not representative data or anything. These are just some illustrative pictures. But it's a good exercise to show us how our minds work. We see a picture, we associate to something we know, and we might be completely wrong about it. This is how we do with country stereotypes. We know, we have seen a few pictures here and there, we heard about these traditions, we just heard about this Midsummer Eve in Sweden, and now we think that Swedes are like that. We see this kind of toilets, and you see it reminds a little bit of your toilets, and you think it's like that. But actually, it shows to us that we don't know how the world looks like. So Gapminder has been for 10 years trying to show how the world looks like. Central Bureau of Statistics has been trying to show how Nepal looks like, and still we don't get it. It's hard to get data, isn't it? So in Gapminder, Anna, one of our founders, decided to show, okay, people don't understand data, people don't understand those big tables, so let's try to show data in a different way. So let's see this. She created something called the dollar street. Let's think of the rupee street here. So I want you to imagine everybody who you know. Think of everybody who you know here in Kathmandu, Chitwan, Pokhara. Everyone lives on the same street, the rupee street, okay? And Your income, you live there too. So everybody who you know are your neighbors, okay? Your income, your house number is your income. So the richest you are, more to the right you are. The poorest you are, more to the left you are. All right. Are you thinking of your uncle, auntie, and the other uncle that you don't like, that is super rich, so he is over there? So think of that. Now, let's think about the whole wide world. Everybody who you know who is abroad, etc., everyone, Africa, Americas. I am here too. I am from Brazil. That's why the weird accent. So I'm also here. Brazil, whoever you know from Rio, São Paulo, in America, Chicago, whatever. Everyone is there. This is the idea of Dollar Street. We're trying to make the lives of everyone comparable so we understand how people live. So let's do, there you go. This is the population, 7 billion people. We are rounding it down, so to make it more easy to understand. 7 billion people in the world. Let's think, where do you live? So use your devices again and click 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where do you think you live? Are you poor and live here on number 1? Are you super rich and live here on number 7? You're super rich like Bill Gates kind of rich? Or maybe not that much, but still rich? Where do you think you live? Are they voting? Voting? 100 people already voted?
100.
100? I'll wait a little bit more. Voting, voting, voting. Ready? Perfect. All right, tell me, what did they answer? Most people think they live on number?
4.
4. You think you live on number 4.
And 3.
And 3? You, oh my God, you are
how many
well-educated people who are here in Nepal, who are here in this hall right now. I am sure you received good education. I am sure, I don't know you personally, but comparing to the rest of the world, this is your guess, right? I would think that you are somewhere between here or here. Perhaps you are here. But sincerely, I think you're more into this upper level here. So what we found out, oh, why do I think that? Does your bed look somewhat like this? Yes, say yes or no. Who thinks it's no, your bed doesn't look like this? No one is saying no. Yes. Does your bed look like this? Okay, you don't need the toys. The point is, these are high-income families in Nepal. We took pictures of their beds and many other things in their homes, and this is what their beds look like. We took pictures of beds in low-income families or poor families. Their beds don't look like this. They don't. You will see soon. My point is, I think you are richer than what you think you are. Why do I think that? There is a gap between what we know and what we think about the world. Let's see how the rich people live. And I want you to think about your own home. You chose between 3 and 4 there. See these people's houses and see how your house compares to theirs, okay? This is the richest, top rich people, richer people in the world. All right. This is how people think it is, and this is how, this is what you guessed, right? We have sent photographers, I'm not kidding, we actually hired photographers and sent them to more than 50 countries. Our dream is to reach the 200 nations, about 200 nations of the United Nations. We're reaching there, but right now we have about 50 countries, and we took pictures of, oh my God, hundreds of things inside their homes. Their beds, how they cook, their favorite toys, the toilet, their favorite shoes, the earrings, everything that you can imagine, like toothbrush. And then we put it all in one website called dollarstreet.org. So let's see what we found out with Dollar Street. It's going to be a video now. I will be speaking as you see the video, okay? You're going to notice that there's going to be a street here. And we're going to start showing high-income families, rich families. And as the video goes on, you're going to see that it goes to poorer families, okay? Ready? Right, look at how similar their bathrooms are. Nepal, there you go. Now Tanzania, rich people. And then we start going into middle-income people, and now you see more people brushing their teeth outside. Look at that, outside. This woman is Nepal as well, outside. Burkina Faso, still people outside brushing their teeth. Ooh, now we're coming almost into the very poor people who don't even have a toothbrush. And look at that, no toothbrush, no toothpaste either. This is very impressive, look at that. This woman, the last one that was using her finger, when we asked her to point at her toothbrush, she did this. And then when we asked her to point at her toothpaste, I am not kidding, she did like this on her wall. This is what they use as a toothpaste. When you don't have money, not even to have a toothbrush, you don't have a toothpaste as well, right? So, this is how extremely poor people live. They don't even have a toothbrush. A lot of their basic needs are not yet met. So, and then, when we grow a little bit on income, they have a toothbrush. One for the family. And as you get rich like us, we have each one toothbrush. If you are even richer, like the kids in Sweden, I guess your kids have an electronic toothbrush too. Do you have an electronic toothbrush? You are rich, I'm sure of it. So, we decided to see what are the similarities then. Let's look at those pictures and see how similar or different the lives of people are. So we have here the United States. It's green because it's in the Americas. That's the color we use to represent the Americas. And then we have the United States here. This is a high-income family, because it's over there, right, on the right. And these are the Howards. These are real people. We actually went to their house and took their pictures. This is their beautiful house. They are rich, I told you, right? And then here is a very poor family in the United States. This family here, the Hadleys, mom and daughter, they live on, we call it social security, which means that she is unemployed, so she gets some pension from the government. And then her daughter goes to a public school. So this was the poorest family that we found in the United States. And look at this. They are in the middle of the world. They are poor for America, but to the rest of the world, they are not really poor. They are, what, middle income. So let's see how their lives. They're both in the United States. Look how different they store their cutlery. This is very organized and beautiful, and one cannot get together with the other, right? While here, people who are poorer are simply meeting their needs of putting cutlery somewhere. It doesn't need to be pretty, it just has to be somewhere. Look at that. Let's see now one more family, the Robinsons. They're in the middle. Can you see a progression? This is their sink. And then they have a little bit more money, and then the Howards have a beautiful marble sink. How is your sink? Is it beautiful and marble too? All right, and this is their living room. This one is a big mess, and it's together with their sleeping area. This one is also used for a lot of things, and the Howards are very beautiful and have a beautiful sofa. And then, okay, that's in the United States. Let's get another completely different country to compare with then, China. We have 3 families in China, rich, medium, and poor, and now we're comparing their lives. This is how they live. This is how their living room. So what I want to show here is they are in the same country, and they have very different ways of solving their needs, of sitting, for example, of having guests. It doesn't even look like the same country. I wouldn't think so. If you told me that this is in Nepal, I would believe you. Definitely would believe you. It's the same country. Look how different it is, the way that they prepare food. That's even an electric stove. Look at this. This is not even healthy for us, for the person who is cooking this meal. So let's get United States and China and compare them to each other. So rich families, completely different countries. How do their lives look like? Their beds. Actually, this, if you hadn't told me, if I hadn't seen here the color, I would think that this is in China. It's in the United States. This one here is in China. It's exactly the same bed. It looks exactly the same. And they are in different countries. The only similarity is that they are rich. Look at that. The same leather couch, same kind of playground for their kids. It's probably made in China anyway. How about if we put poor families? As I told you, we didn't have an American family that was extremely poor or very poor. So we had to go into another country that we had a family. I'm not saying that there are not poor people in the United States. I'm just saying that we didn't get yet photos from that place. So we're going to put Nigeria here and compare to China. China, there are poor people. In Nigeria, there are poor people as well. There are poor people everywhere, huh? So there you go. The Liang and the Albiojonu family. How do their lives look like? China and Nigeria. Exactly same kind of roof. This is the roof under their heads to protect them from extreme weather. This is how they sit in a plastic chair. This is how they store rice. This is fish, the meat that they eat on a regular basis. This is how they cook. Can you see any difference? If you have traveled to China to do any kind of studies and you thought you saw a traditional Chinese stove, you are wrong, because look, they have very similar one as well in Nigeria. So I think that what matters in the way you live is not where you are, it's how much money you have. This is what we think on. The similarities in the way you live depend not on your country, but on how much money you have. Or not only how much money you have, but on what you consume and the other services that are provided to you. Basically, your income. So, this is how the poorest in the world lives. I'm going to say this a lot of times. Most people in the world live in the middle. What you are seeing here is extreme poverty. It's people who are really poor. Most people in the world are not like this. But we're going to see how they live anyway. Look at that. I told you about beds, right? This is how the bed of the poor looks like. This is a bed. Can you see that it's just a rug on the floor? And it's earth kind of floor as well? All right. See, roofs in Papua New Guinea, in Burundi, looks the same. It doesn't matter where they are. I'm not going to say all these names here. You can just read where they are. You see, lives are very similar, no matter in which country you are. This is how they store salt, not cocaine, okay? This is salt. Very similar, Papua New Guinea, Burundi, Nigeria, comes Nepal. Just look at that again, Nigeria, Nepal. Very different regions of the world. Same way of using the bathroom. I didn't say what this was, right? This is the bathroom. Yep. Perfect. So we're talking here about how extremely poor people live. And I'm telling you that not all people in the world are poor, right? Let's see if you actually know where the people in the world live. 7 billion people in the world. You're going to use your little devices again. Grab it, grab your device. I think it's the last time you're going to use them today, but please don't take them home. We need to come back with them to Sweden, okay? Ready? You're going to vote now on where people live in the world. Each little dummy of this is 1 billion people. And do you think you have to choose where do you think there are more billions or how many billions there are in each region? Vote A, vote B, or vote C. This one you got to think a little bit more, so we'll leave a little bit longer. Okay, done?
No. More people.
4 people voted.
No.
Jesus, okay.
But,
come on, faster, faster, faster.
It's a
A,
good
B, or
thing
C?
they're activating their slow thinking.
That's very good. Yes, activate your slow thinking. Where do people live? A, B, or C? Ready?
Yep.
How many people voted?
125.
125. Give me more, give me more. Vote, 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 vote. All right. Okay, you can stop it now. Let's show the answer first, and then you tell me what they chose, okay? All right, so let's see, where do they live? We have separated the world in 4 regions just to make it simpler and easier to understand. Because this is what we do at Gapminder, as you pointed out, our amazing speakers have pointed out before, that we have to make data more understandable. So we do that. We try to simplify things and make them colorful and big fonts and easy to understand. So we did that with the world. We have put Europe together with Russia, Oceania is together with Asia, and so on. And the Americas are all together. All right, where do people live? Let's see. Ta-dam, ta-dam. 1 billion lives in the Americas. Only 1. And this is actual data from the United Nations Populations Division. And then we get here Europe, 1 billion in Europe, 1 billion in Africa, only 1. Everyone else lives in Asia. Everyone else. This is where things happen in the world. Things in the world happen in Asia. This is where people are. We are where the thing that, make the world happen. People are here. How is it going to be in the this is the pin code of the world, if you need to know, 1114, very easy. If you forget about this, just remember 1114. How is it going to look like in the future? Now, these are, what I'm showing now are forecasts. Forecasts from the experts from the United Nations Population Division, okay? We don't have date on the future yet. These are forecasts. This is what it's going to look like. Ta-da! One more in Asia by the year 2050. And then we grow here a little bit in Africa. And by the end of the century, we're going to have 4 billion in Africa and 5 in Asia. This is how the population is expected to grow. This is where people live in the world today and how we think that they are going to grow. Look at this. We're going to split this a little bit just to show people here love talking about going to Europe or love going to London or to the United States. You have a lot of relatives in the United States, I'm sure about it. You probably have in Australia as well. But my point is, the Old West, or the people in the West, are going to be less than 10%. They're going to be like 8% of the world population. All the rest of the world is going to be in Asia and Africa. Things are going to happen here, not here. This is what we should be focusing on. You are doing already a tremendous job in doing that. Now we need to make the rest of the world follow your example and do that as well. Okay, how did you answer? How did they answer that?
Most people were a billion off.
A billion off?
Yes, they
Where?
thought that most people thought that 2 billion live in Africa or 2 billion in America. So they missed a billion in Asia.
How many people got this one right?
29%.
Worse than the chimps, worse than everyone else, as usual. No one knows this.
But you beat
crazy.
the Swedes.
You what?
You beat the Swedes.
You beat the Swedes. Yeah, you did. Congratulations. It's not hard. We don't know where people live. We don't know that most people in this world are not poor. We don't know that most people in this world are not rich. We forget that people live in the middle. People live in the middle. See, they are not poor, they are not the richest. Most people are in the middle. Look at this, in the whole wide world. How does the middle income people live? When you're going to look at these pictures now, and I want you to think, most people in the world live like this, most people in the world live like this, okay? Remember that. So, Bolivia, Indonesia, completely different places. I'm just going to go on and show you beds, and now I'm showing you salt again. Look at this.
Not cocaine.
I swear it's salt. You remember how the poor stored their salt in a little plastic bag? Middle-income people, no matter where they are, it looks like they bought it on this little plastic thing on the same place because it all looks exactly the same. I even put Nepal over there. It's simply a plastic bottle where people store their salt. Nepal does exactly the same. Look at that. All middle-income people. These are different homes, all from Nepal. Everybody stores salt similarly. Look at that. And then look at that. The way that this is middle-income people, the way they put their spoons. Nepal again, the way, look at that. I wouldn't guess where this is from. You're laughing at the name? Roofs. This is middle income. This is their favorite toys. Middle income. Whew. Middle income here in Nepal is there too. Oops. People don't know that. Yes, we already know that. We already know that. And now, you have seen how the middle-income people live. Maybe you identified yourself a little bit with them. Now let's see how the richest people in the world lives. This is in the United States and Jordan, completely different. They have all-stars, same kind of shoes. These are everyday shoes. This is their sofas. I couldn't figure out where this is. Fruits, Kenya. This is in Kenya. Would you think that this is in Kenya in comparison to Sweden? See, it's just the same. Rich people solve their everyday problems with the same way. Look at this. Toilet paper. These are their wardrobes and beautiful, beautiful light bulbs. Do you remember the light bulbs of the people who are in the middle? How different it is? Here is China and Sweden, different places of the world, very colorful, beautiful light decoration stuff. Even the dogs look alike. It's crazy. When you are rich, you simply have, this is their floor. When you're rich, you simply have the same kind of stuff that everyone else who is rich in the world has. Look at that, look at that. That hand soap. There you go. Washing machine, clocks, and so on and so forth. It doesn't matter where I show you. My point here is, you people guess that they are there. We ask that in Sweden too. We ask that in America too. We ask that all over. Everybody thinks they are in the middle. While most of them that we ask, I said, I don't know you personally, but most of the people who we ask this are here. There's a huge gap in what people know and what the world actually looks like. And this is what we're doing here in Gapminder, and that's what we're trying to do with Dollar Street. We're trying to show data in a way that is easier to understand. So we created a framework in which people can base their thinking to understand. 1 billion people in level 1. They don't need to know that, they don't need to know that it's below $2 a day or below $1.25 a day. These numbers are hard to get. They just need to know that it's different to live here on level 1 and living here on level 2 and living there on level 3 and level 4 and so forth. Look at that. With means of transportation of extremely poor people. You get a little bit richer, you are here, you get a bike, cycle. You get richer, you guys are here, aren't you? A lot of you have bikes, I know. And you're here, you have a car. I told you you're rich, I told you. So we're trying to create this framework for understanding how people in the world live. This is, in a way, showing data. It's photos as data to understand how people live in the world. So instead of having this dramatic worldview that Olof was telling you about, we're actually showing you photos of real life for you to understand how people live. Look at that. This is my friend, Bishu, in Nepal. We actually went to his home and took pictures. So we put here Dollar Street. This is the website that I told you about. This here, where is my pointer? Yeah. So here we're seeing families, but you can change this to beds, toilets, hands, teeth, toothbrush, whatever it is. And then you can compare how it looks like in the world. See the street over here, this street here? It's the same that I was showing you today. And here, you can choose the country that you want to see. You could just choose Nepal over there and see all pictures from Nepal. Oh, and better even, you can help us by adding your own home to Dollar Street. Yep. So, to finalize.
Yes.
Dollar Street is here, and all of our tools are here to help people to understand data. We are making data understandable for everyone. How can we do that? How can we turn public data into public knowledge?
Gapminder has been doing this for quite a long time, so we thought that we would summarize some of the things that we have learned from our 10 years of experience. And again, we don't create our own data sets. We don't go around and gather data. We collect public data and try to transform it into public knowledge. Because there is a difference between data and knowledge. You have to transform data into knowledge, because otherwise it's just numbers. And one thing that we do, we ask people what they know. Why tell stories about things that they already know? That's the reason we tell stories about life expectancy in the world. child mortality, because people have missed them. They're important stories that people don't know. These are the stories that should be told. So we, at Gapminder, want to tell about the world, so we see what people know about the world, and if they don't know it, we tell the stories about it.
And then we try to find a way of making the unseen seen. Remember Olof's big boring table that, you know, it's just a bunch of numbers?
Boring?
That's very hard to see. So we try to put them in these nice tools like Dollar Street and the other bubbles, the Gapminder bubbles, so people can have an idea of what their world looks like. I'll tell you a little bit. I'm almost done. You're soon going for dinner. Don't worry. I'll tell you just a little bit how we have started this. Olof said that Hans, when he was a teacher at Karolinska University, he was asking this question to his students, right? So he was also making the bubble graph, the bubbles that was moving. He was also making like several of those on the board for the students to understand how the world has changed. But that was very troublesome to draw over and over again a bunch of bubbles. I don't think he drew all the 200 bubbles.
He actually had overheads.
He had what?
Do you know what an overhead is? The plastic film. I actually listened to Hans 20 years ago. He had a lot of overheads, but it's hard to use overheads to illustrate 144,000 facts.
So Ola, his son, said, come on, I can animate this for you. Give me a little money, and I will create a software for it for you. And Hans said, I'm not going to give you money to create a software. So they started applying for grants, etc. And with time, they built a little team of 3 people that would come up and create the bubble graph. And then Anna came in to make it colorful and beautiful, because they were just making this boring stuff that Hans used to present in class. And this is how they started Gapminder, with this software, the bubbles moving, this software called Gapminder World. And then this Gapminder World became famous because it was very useful. Hans gave a TED Talk, yes, in San Francisco. And then they finally managed to sell this software to Google. So Anna and Ula went to the United States and worked in Google, stayed there 3 years. And then they were working with, this is very interesting, in Google searches, they were working in making the indicators appear very easily for the users, like it is right now. But when they were working on it, they realized that people don't search for indicators. For example, you might right now type on Google, life expectancy, Nepal. And then you're going to get over there, beautiful life expectancy of Nepal. But when they were at Google, they found out that most people who typed the life expectancy actually were looking for life expectancy of cats. Cats, they are, you know, pets. So it was not that useful. So they decided to come back to Sweden and create Gapminder to make people understand data. And this is what we're doing right now. We are trying to make people see the unseen. So now the third way that we can turn, the third way for turning
yes, and this is
public
the boring
data into
way.
Public knowledge. This is very important.
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard to explain.
But it's boring, so I get to present it. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Even if you have told the story 1,000 times, it's new for the ones that you are telling it to.
Olof, come to the light. You are in the dark there.
I'm hiding.
Yes, there you go.
But you have to, for most people, you haven't seen this movie before, or seen the graph, or seen the photos. So you have to repeat, repeat, repeat. We at Gapminder have been telling the same stories for 10 years.
Yep.
And we're going to continue telling them until we know that people actually know them. But sometimes it can become boring for us to tell the same stories, but then we know it's so important, because repetition is the key and the mother of knowledge in some ways.
Exactly. So, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it.
And we are happy for questions either now, perhaps, or at the dinner, or
on our emails. Yes.